I'm just back from a 4-day adventure with a brand new group of friends up through the Pacific Northwest in Washington State. If there's one thing I've learned over the years as an older rider, it's learn how to say yes. Break out of your comfort zone and do the things that make you feel uncomfortable, because in the end, those turn out to be some of the most rewarding memories you'll ever make. You know, it might not be obvious considering I have 2 YouTube channels, but I'm kind of an introvert. I suffer from a bit of the social anxiety. So for me to just say yes when invited on a 4-day adventure with 3 other people that I barely know, that took a lot. That took a lot of throwing caution to the wind, breaking out of my comfort zone, and just going with the flow. A few weeks ago, someone I know from Instagram who watches my channel and who I've been on one ride with texted me and said, "Hey, a group of friends and I are going on an adventure. You want to come?" And my first inclination was to say, "Oh, hell no." Because I don't like to put myself in unfamiliar situations. Or at least I used to not like that. But I immediately wrote back and I said, as soon as I get home, I'll check my calendar, and if I'm free, hell yeah. So I got home, I checked my calendar, I was free, I wrote back, hell yeah, I'm in. It's part of this thing I've been trying to teach myself over the past 3 or 4 years, and that is just say yes. It's kind of a joke among my friends. When they ask me if I want to do something, and I'll say, sure, and they'll be like, really? And I'll say, yeah, I just say yes now. So far, it's worked out. So in this instance, looking at about a 1,000-mile trip over 4 days with 3 people I barely know, I went into it with a little bit of anxiety, I'm not gonna lie. Luckily, quickly became friends. There was nothing to worry about, there never was. It was easy as could be. I've suffered social anxiety most of my life, and I've dealt with it in healthy and unhealthy ways. But I've found that owning a motorcycle is sort of like a social lubricant. It's an entrance into a group of people that you wouldn't otherwise have. I think as we get older, we're less likely to try new things and probably less likely to go out and try and meet new friends. But I think this is a huge mistake. I think as we get older, this is the time when we should be trying new things, and this is the time we should be making new friends. I'm pretty certain that in the 4 days that I was on this trip, I made friends that I'm going to have for life. They may feel differently. Who knows? I think the hardest part of breaking out of your shell and leaving your comfort zone, especially as an older person, as an older rider, is just making the initial commitment, just saying yes. The second hardest part might be the time after saying yes, leading up to the time you actually leave on your adventure or whatever it is. That's the time when the anxiety creeps in and the what-ifs start popping through your head. What if I break down? What if I don't like these people? What if I don't fit in? What if they don't like me? Most of the problems you encounter on the road, whether it be on a motorcycle adventure or by yourself, they're all stuff you can prepare for. When you say yes to going on a group adventure with folks you might not really know all that well, if it turns out you don't fit in, or you don't like them, or they don't like you, you can walk away. That's the power that you have. And that's something you have to remember, that you're in control. If you don't like the folks that you're with, or they're riding dangerous or too fast for you, or whatever it is, you can say, hey, listen, it's been great, but I think it's time for me to split off and do my own thing. Good people will understand that and wish you well. Tell you to have a good ride, and then see you next time. If they don't, then they're probably not people you wanted to be with in the first place. Luckily, nothing like that happened on the trip I just got back from. Let me tell you about the trip and why it was so damn special to me. We left Portland, Oregon on a Sunday morning and took the back way all the way up to the Puget Sound and took a ferry over to Seattle. We stayed in Seattle for a night, had a great meal, then we headed east and south from there through the North Cascades. At one point we stopped for gas and it was 107 degrees. That's a bit out of my comfort zone. But what I found is the not-so-perfect things about a trip are the things that really bring a group together. Luckily, we didn't encounter any major mechanical failures. No one was hurt. Only one bike was dropped and there was no damage. It really couldn't have been a more successful trip. But the biggest takeaway from that trip was laying in bed the first night and thinking how uncomfortable I used to be with even sleeping near people I don't know. Am I gonna snore? Am I gonna whatever in the middle of the night that's gonna irritate people or make them think that I'm a weirdo? When you're stuck with a group of hot, sweaty, tired people, it really doesn't matter whether you snore or whatever. Everyone's got their own thing. You're not unique in having anxieties, especially social anxieties. Even some of the most extroverted people I know suffer from social anxiety, and them being extroverts is a way to battle that social anxiety. It's sort of like fighting fire with fire. And that's not a bad thing. When it comes to just saying yes, I think the first thing you need to realize is that it's never going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. The reasons you want to say no are probably not going to happen. And if they do, you can prepare for them, and you have the power to change them, even if that means walking away. For me, when my habit used to be to just say no to everything, it was because I was insecure. It was because I didn't really know who I was, and because I didn't know who I was, I didn't know how people were going to find me. I cared a lot whether people would like me. I cared a lot about making a good first impression at the expense of being myself and letting people get to know who I really am. Because in the end, if you're not yourself, if you're putting on a false face in front of people, they're getting to know a fake person. They're not getting to know the real you. And when the real you emerges, they're going to be wondering, who the hell is this? When you learn to say yes, you've opened yourself up to a whole new world of possibilities. Especially if you're an older motorcycle rider, there are so many opportunities to get out there and live life, be with like-minded folk. Doesn't matter if they're the same age, doesn't matter if they're the same gender. None of it matters. Once you're out on the road, all that matters is that you're a crew, that you're a pack, that you've got each other's backs, and you're all in it for the same reason, to have fun and to explore life a little bit. That's what I've learned after teaching myself to say yes more often. Not say no unless you have a really good reason.